Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Christmas. Yes, Christmas starts officially tomorrow, and I have managed to sprinkle a little bit of Christmas cheer in the studio, although technically I can't have a drink on this Christmas day because I am still on antibiotics for some toothache, which I've had, and the doctor said, whatever you do, you cannot have any alcohol or you'll be ill. I've got one more day to go. And then he said, really, you should have the next day off. So I can't even have a drink on Christmas Day, and I hope you feel sorry for me. However, Boxing Day, I can get as drunk as a lord. And by golly, I may well do that. Good evening and welcome to the Vobes show on the 23rd of December 2019. Here we are. I'm dressed up in my little red coat because I'm Santa's rather large, bald helper. But I've got my... Do you know, I was looking in the monitor, I went to take the bauble. Here it is. There it is. The bauble. I've got my little silly Santa's hat. Hello. Let's see who we've got out there. Nigel Sadler is out. Linda Kane is out there. Jeff Kellison. Hello. He says 87 miles to go and I'll be home. Well done, sir. He sent me an email earlier today and he was 200 miles from home. Sending some what was it? Horse drugs or something. Somewhere so that they can concentrate better or something. The lovely Julia is there. Ola, good evening, everyone, she says. Lovely to see you, Julia, out there. Francisco Bellringer, hello to you. Fiona Cooper, good evening all. Lovely to see you. Tim Williams, hello, Tim. Hope you're well out there. We've got Marriott Genealogy, Andy Freeson, hello to you guys. Anne Osborne, which is very nice. Robert Baxter, hello, Robert. Great of you to join. And many more joining, of course, all the time. Thank you so much on this. Now, no doubt some of you will be sitting back for the first time. Perhaps you've finished work now, or maybe you've got one more shift to do tomorrow, or maybe you're actually working all over Christmas. Who is actually going to be working on Christmas Day or Boxing Day? Put your hands up. There we are. We've got to be extra nice to you. There are people working, of course. There's somebody who is going to be on the treadmill, on that bicycle somewhere, making sure all the lights don't go out, and somebody pumping gas somewhere so that you can all cook your Christmas turkeys or your geese or whatever it is that you cook. What other strange things do people cook? They cook all sorts of strange things, don't they? Anne says that I'm looking very festive. Thank you very much, Anne. One does try to make a bit of an effort in this show. Not much, but we make a little bit of an effort. Santa Vobes, yes. I hope you all get what you want. I'm looking forward to trying on all those lovely stockings. I look good in stockings, actually. I've got the legs for it, apparently. Robert Bax is saying, hello, evening all. Lord Slater, sorry, Nigel says, which Lord? Oh, Lord. Well, there's many lords lording it up here, Francisco Bellringer is dubiously the internet. Obviously, the internet is failing miserably. I do apologise. You need to maybe get the hamsters to work harder on your internet connection. Nikki Jess is there. Hello, Richard. Hello, everybody. Hello, Nikki. Lovely to see you. Steve Blakey says, oi, oi. Oi, oi to you, Squire. Thank you so much for popping by. Dean Cooper. Hello. Good evening. So that's that. Rami Boo. Hello, Richard. Hello, Lisa. How are you over there? Yes, it said, sorry about the confusion. I often put the chat box on earlier so people can sort of get all warmed up 20 minutes or so before the show. But the show doesn't actually start till the hour. So I guess it's 12 noon over there in America. And of course it's, I don't know what it is over here. 8 o'clock, normal time. Yes, that's right. Dean says, I'm working Christmas Day. I'm the home chef. Well, I wasn't really counting work at home as work, but I'm glad you're out there in the garden with the barbecue. Are you doing a barbecue? Because that's what men mainly do, isn't it? When they cook, they're mainly barbecue chefs. But maybe you're doing something else. We've got the roast turkey on, no doubt. Robert Baxter says, not working this year, but do regularly pick up milk from the farms. Oh, well, do they come in those great big churns that, in the old days, they have these great big metal churns, didn't they? Do they still have those, or have they died out now? They put them probably in a container lorry or something, one of those big liquid lorries that you wondered if one day it's had creosote in and the next day it's got a little bit of treacle in, and then the day after that it's got milk in. Who knows? Who knows how they work? Well, Robert probably does. Julia says, Santa Vobe, hurry down the chimney tonight. Yes, I will try. Although I have lit the Essie, and getting up the chimney might be quicker than you imagine, because it'll be bloody hot up there. The bricks are nice and warm. Kevin's Rambles has arrived. Hello, Kevin. Ho, ho, ho. Green Giant. He's playing the part of the Green Giant in the Sweet Corn adverts, which is nice. He won't fit. Your internet is working perfectly well, Francesco. I don't know what you're moaning about. What do you mean he won't fit? You don't know how big my chimney is. Thank you very much. But you're quite right, actually. I won't fit up there. It's about a foot square. So if you know any small children, alas, poor little Joseph, he is not yet crawling around, so he wouldn't be able to climb up the chimney. But anyone smaller, bigger than that, maybe Kyle out there who is watching. He's not actually watching live. He's watching tomorrow, or rather, to him, it's now, of course. But he's going to be watching tomorrow. He thinks I'm Santa's helper, and of course he's absolutely right. I am Santa's helper. So hello to you, Kyle, and I hope you've been a very good boy, because you've got to be good for the next day. You've really got to try and be good for all day, so that Father Christmas, isn't that right, Father Christmas? Yes. What? Yes, I know. I'm just telling Kyle. Kyle, yes, little Kyle is just out there now. Yes. What? Oh, you've heard he's been naughty? I don't know. Have you been naughty, Kyle? What do you mean you've heard? Oh, you've got a letter, have you? Who's that from, then? Is it from his grandparents? Who's it from? Oh, you're not saying. All right, fair enough. Well, I think what is that, Father Christmas? If he's a good boy, yes, then he'll come. Oh, well, Kyle, you've got to be one more day of being good, and Father Christmas will come. I know you've got presents already under the tree, no doubt, but that's what he's... Oh, see you later, Father Christmas. He's got to go and load up the sleigh. It takes him a bit of time. So there we are. That's all good. Lisa says he's finally got a tree into the studio. Yes, thank you. This little tree, I tell you, it's been with me for bloody years. It goes in the cupboard over there. It'll go in the cupboard Boxing Day night. That's when my Christmas ends. And it comes out just before Christmas Eve. We don't need to... I've got my little Father Christmases. Have you seen these? Here they are. Look. They are actually gnomes, really, on their day off. They are little garden gnomes on their day off. And they've got little red coats to keep them warm. But they've come into the studio just to say hello to you. Isn't that nice? That's very nice of them. It's very nice. I mean, if they're naughty, I whip them. Yes, I whip them back into the box they came from. So that's nice. Francisco says, I'm quite right. Are you quite right? Just quite. Quite is a funny word, isn't it? When people use quite, it can be used in two contexts. When you say you've got a nice dinner in front of you and you've gobbled it all up, and they say, well, how was that? Was that all right? And you go, yeah, it was quite good. And it sounds positive, doesn't it? But you could also say, well, it was quite good. And it has completely the opposite meaning. Isn't that strange? It's one of those... Are there any more terms like that you can think of? That you can... It's the same word, but with the different... It can have two different meanings. Yeah, it was quite good, actually. It was quite good, actually. It's maybe putting the actually on the end sort of changes the inflection. I don't know. Dean Cooper says, Bradley is with me. He would be your helper. He's also known as the gate man on our walks. Yes, good old Bradley. Now, Bradley, I hope you've been a good lad, because I know you have a tendency to get a little bit, frisky with the horses, which is not what anybody wants to see, really, to be honest with you, a kid being trampled by them when they've had enough. So I hope you're going to go to bed, especially tomorrow night when your mum and dad tell you, and Christmas Eve, you've got to go to bed, so that Father Christmas can get in and do his business. He'll pull the chain, hopefully, at the end of it. Rami Boo says, how do you with your gift shop? Oh, how are you doing with your gift shopping? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you that pretty much 10% of it's done. 10%, I would imagine, has been done. So I just whiz out tomorrow evening, just before the shop's shut, and see if there's any bargains. And that's generally what everybody gets from me. A few, sort of sweepings off the floor. The stuff that's been returned, slightly broken before Christmas, or has been played with a few times, and then they can't really sell it, so they make it at a discount price. And that'll be the gifts that they get from me. And I think that's only fair because I don't like to see things go to waste, because they'll only go to waste. That's why I always go at the end of the day. End of the day. It's most irritating for most of them because they just put in the closed side. I time it, you see, They're just putting the closed side. I said, no, wait a minute. Oh. I said, well, you're not going to turf me out, are you, on Christmas Eve, are you? You're not going to turf me out. I just got one more present to buy. What? And they go, oh, very well, very well. And then they let me in, and of course I wander around the shop looking at this and looking at that and going, well, how much is that? You know, you open up like a world encyclopedia and you look at it and go, it's good, isn't it? It's very good. And they say, yes, that's $15.99. $15.99, yeah. $15.99. Dear, oh dear, I only bought £12 out with me. Well, it's $15.99, mate. And, if you won't mind, I've got to get home to the wife and kids. It is Christmas after. He said, yes, I know, but you wouldn't turf me out on Christmas just trying to do my shopping. $15.99. Would you take £13 for it? No, it's $15.99. So time's ticking. And anyway, eventually, of course, you haggle them down. Lovely Julia says, I'm liking all the Christmas decor and confetti. What? Confetti? Nice one, Vobes. I don't think you mean confetti. Yeah, thanks very much. Oh, attire. And the attire, yes. I haven't got a proper Christmas outfit, really, but, I thought I'd make a bit of an effort today. I nipped down to the shop where the man in the white suit got his suit from, and then I nipped over to the dyers and said, could you dye it red? And they said, yeah, no problem. We'll do that for you by 8 o'clock. And it's still a little bit damp, but I understand it's some old miser's blood, so it'll be fine. Patrick Rose has joined us. Hello, Patrick Rose. Lovely. Thank you so much for joining us, by the way. It's very kind. I know you're all very, very busy, things to do, people to see and all that. And he says, I enjoyed the video with Kim that you posted today. Well, tomorrow, thank you. I'm very pleased you enjoyed that little conversation. Tomorrow, Kim is going to give us a story. I want to tell you a story. No, she's not Max Bygraves, but she is going to tell us a story. And it's a very nice story. And I should point out that you've got a treat coming to you on Christmas Day. You have got a treat. I'm not going to say any more than that, but the video for Christmas Day is now ready. And you will have a treat. If you go to the Bald Explorer page on Christmas Day, you have a treat. But tomorrow you've also got a better treat. A better treat, really, because Kim is going to give her one of her special stories that she does at these events. So, thanks, Patrick, for that. So that's all good. Rami Boost. Oh, done that one. Gift card time, says Rami Boo. Yes, always nice to have a gift card if you can get one. Susie Q. Is that when you say Susie Q? It's not Susie Quattro, is it? By any strange quirk of the imagination, that'd be funny, wouldn't it? It'd be funny if actually all of you lot were international superstars, just pretending to be ordinary people. I mean, I wouldn't know, would I? I would have no idea. But actually, it would be funny if Susie Q was actually Susie Quattro. Can't think, I'm afraid, of one of Susie Quattro's songs. And if you can, you're a better man than I am, Gungding. Maybe you could sing it. Nice and loud. Open the window. I think that's the best thing. Open the window and sing out one of Susie Quattro's songs. Maybe somebody can give me the title of one. I might know it. Unlikely, knowing me. The lovely Julia says, I was unable to be there tonight, sadly. I'm watching from afar. If yourself. Yes, I'm so sorry, lovely Julia. She did come over earlier, and I did assist her with a little bit of help on the shopping front. And I did manage to get, the one thing I did manage to get was my grandson, George, his birthday. Not his birthday, what am I talking about? His Christmas presents. So he's one member of the family who will be getting something. And I think he's about 2 years old. To be honest, I can't tell you how old he is. Kind of a granddad, am I? I am a reluctant granddad. I don't really want to be a granddad, if the truth is known. Francesco Bellringer says, actually makes it more like you're surprised. Yes, that's true, isn't it? It's quite nice, actually. Yes. It's like saying supposed. You're expecting it to be bad. Oh, yes. I have a linguistics degree. Oh, my God, Francisco Bellringer. You can't have a degree. How old are you? I thought you were only 15 or something. Oh, no, that's Ollie Bellringer, isn't he? You can't have a degree. How old are you, Francisco? In that video you sent with your long hair, you looked so young. I don't want to be rude, but you look so young. Jeff Kellerson says the man in the white suit, was that Colonel Sanders? Jeff, only American would say that. Alec Guinness was the man in the white suit in a very famous film called The Man in the White Suit, an Ealing comedy from the 1950s. People of a certain age in England would understand that, but of course many people wouldn't. And I am of a certain age, but not as I only remember it. It's a black and white film that came out in the 50s, but I remember it from television, where I spent many a misspent use watching some of the classics of the British cinema. And that was a film, The Man in the White Suit. The premise of The Man in the White Suit was that this scientist had worked out how to make a cotton, or some sort of cotton or material like that you could sew into a suit and would never get dirty. And of course, it was going to put all sorts of people out of business, because people wouldn't, and it wouldn't fall apart either. It would never get dirty and would never wear out. It was a great idea. And in a way, I think it's something that's already been done, but probably in petrol or fuel or gas or, those sort of things, that actually, instead of having to have refined petroleum, you probably can use some sort of combination of water, and you can do it. But of course, everybody doesn't want to lose all the money that's invested in it. And so these people have been bought out or hidden. Can the can, says Anne Osborne. Can the can. I'm not quite sure what you mean, but it's a nice notion, and thank you for sharing it with us. Mark Donny McLeod is here. He says, ho, ho, Merry Christmas. Sorry, getting into the character for the granted. Well done. It's very nice to hear that. I'm sure you've got a very deep thing. Devilgate Drive. Devilgate Drive. I'm trying to think back to what that might refer to. Wow, and that was good. Can the can. Can the can. Oh, Devilgate Drive. Is that a Susie Quattro? Thank you. Susie Quattro. Right. Oh, okay. Wow. And that was... Oh, Can the Can. Is that a Susie Quattro? You say I forget half the time what I request because of the delay and stuff. Yeah, so I don't know how they go. I'll have to look them up. Thank you, Susie Quattro. Robert Baxter says, I was thinking of Echo Beach, but I'm not sure. I've started something here because I can't qualify any of these. You could say any old thing. You could say like Pebble Road and say that was a good... Do you remember Pebble Road? And people, what? No, I don't remember that one. Or they'll be going, oh, yes, I remember that. Can't the Can't. That was not such a famous one, of course. Beat Me To It, says Linda Kane, who knew Can the Can. Dave Ford... 48 crash. Yes, the 48 crash, 1948. It was a terrible, terrible crash. It was a bit like the financial crash, only it was bubblegum. The bubblegum crash of 1948 was dreadful, and a lot of people got chewed up over it, which is a shame. And in the end, they were all, instead of spitting teeth, they were just blowing bubbles. Dean Cooper says, down in Devilgate Drive. Devilgate Drive. Susie Quattro number, that one. I now have learned. Francisco says, I'm 12. I was only joking. Yes, you have been sorted out. Linguistics degree. What a load of old nonsense. I've never heard anything quite so stupid in mind. Well, actually, I've heard many things more stupid than that, but it is a thing. There's a lot, says Nigel Sadler, a lot of Susie Quattro fans out there. And now, Susie Quattro, of course, is different to Susie and the Banshees. And in fact, Susie and the Banshees, I only realised the other day, it's not even spelt as you might think Susie and the Banshees is. It's a strange, weird spelling of Susie, isn't it? And I don't think it's actually pronounced that either. Dave Ford says, if you can't give me love, give me £100 and he'll be very happy. In fact, give him another whippet because somebody's whipped the other one. By the way, Dave, if you're watching, I'd like to know, what do you buy a whippet for Christmas? You can tell us. I don't think the whippet can read. You can tell us, what has Logan got for Christmas? I want to know. Has he got a new GoPro camera or something like that? Be interested. Francisco Bella, I read that. One of my late mum's favourite films, The Man in the White Suit. Yeah, we've just spoken about that. We just spoke about your mum's favourite films. The Man in the White Suit. One of my favourite films from that era, of course, has to be The Lady Killers. Not the American substitute with Tom Hanks or whatever his name was. Was it Tom Hanks? Not that one. The much earlier one, of course, with Alec Guinness, Peter Sellers, and a bunch of other people in it. Hilarious, but also quite chilling. And wasn't the actress who played the little old lady absolutely superb? It was marvellous. And who was the other guy in there? The other famous guy who was the sinister character, always played sinister roles. I can't bring his name to mind. Myra Harwood, hello Maya. Mara I just called you, but Maya is what I meant to say. Says, sorry I'm late, sir. No problem at all. I'm sure you have a note, but it's lovely to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. Thanks so much for popping in. Mark Donny McLeod saying something, but he can't remember. Dave Ford says, stumbling in. I've been to the stumbling in. It's usually at about midnight where they stumble out, actually. You have to be a bit careful because they go and fall over in the rose bushes. It's a terrible scene to see. Paul Smith, hello Paul, lovely to see you. He says, Echo Beach was Martha and the Muffins. You see, I think these old band names are brilliant. You could David Bellamy and the Shoeshine Band was a particularly favourite one of mine, but unfortunately David Bellamy has now passed away and we just have the Shoeshines. It's not quite the same really without him in there, but lovely to see you, Paul. Robert Baxter says, yes, of course, he's remembered Martha and the Muffins. I do like the Muffin Man. I remember the Muffin Man. Muffin! You can't get enough in the Muffin, can you? Apparently. Nigel Sadler says, Logan has lots of awards. As lots of awards. Yes, you can't eat an award, though, can you? What do you do with all your awards? Your mantelpiece, Dave Ford, must be reinforced with professional. What is the concrete that they reinforce? Reinforced concrete. Oh yeah, there they are. It's not as funny as I thought it was going to be. Mark is saying the man in the white suit, George Formby, Alistair Sim. No, Alec Guinness. George Formby. You can imagine George Formby, the man in the white suit. There he is. He's come up with this special magic potion that's going to turn thread so it can't be dirty and it can't never wear out, going, when I'm inventing special stuff. Yeah. And Alistair Sim, I must practice my Alistair Sim impressions. Maya says, can I just check, has this message got through? Yes, Maya, you can check, but there is a delay. So it has come through. Can somebody tell her that it's come through? Yes, Maya, says Nigel, quick as a flash. It has come through. Herbert Lom. Oh, my. Herbert Lom. Because he was hilarious in the Pink Panther series. Do you remember the Pink Panther series with Peter Sellers? It's absolutely hilarious. You can imagine Blake Edwards' production, of course. They were just what was his character? He had in Clouseau, and he was Dreyfus, wasn't it? Inspector Dreyfus, and it was Dreyfus, something like that. Anyway, Herbert Lom. Yes, there we are. Thank you so much, Linda Cat. I love doing this show because it's like a trip down memory lane, isn't it? Maya says super thanks, no problem at all. Maya and said she'll be right back. All right, okay, bye. That's nice to see you. David Kitchen, hello, I'm here. Better late than never. Hello, David. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for popping in. Anyway, I mean, how many minutes are we going? 22. That's all right. 22 minutes in. That's not really late. We're only just getting going. Tim Williams says, Robinson, James Robinson Justice, great old actor we watch on the TV. Fantastic. Do you remember him in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang when what's his name? I nearly called him Tim Brooke Taylor, but I didn't mean that at all. Old Rip Van Winkle. No, what was his name? The actor, he was in Mary Poppins. What was his name? What is it with me? And I can't remember these names. Anyway, he's Caractacus, isn't he? Caractacus Potts. That's the character he's playing, and it's Dick Van Dyke. Yeah, I got it. You haven't written it up. I've already said it, so I know somebody will say it now, but I've got it in. The last thing I can see is Herbert Lom is in Hell Drivers. That's the last with Robert Baxter. See, so it'll ping up in a minute, and someone will go Dick Van Dyke. No, I mean it, Dick Van. So you can see where I was thinking of the other people. Anyway, Dick Van Dyke turns up at the sweet factory, doesn't he, for Toot Sweets. Toot Sweets sound like what they are. Bum bum ba ba da ba dum bum bum da ba. Anyway, and they go on this sort of thing, and he's trying to show him the thing, and James Robinson Justice, something happens. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but he goes something like, what was it? Oh God, what does he say now? Something like too late, muffed it. It's just so funny. But of course, James Robinson Justice, his famous line is as playing as the Doctor in the Doctor series. Do you remember the who wrote the Doctor series? The Doctor series, and it had that the gay actor who I think committed suicide in the end. What was his name? Oh God. Anyway, he's cut it out, man, cut it out. That was, I always think of James Robinson Justice with that as the surgeon, the big surgeon, pompous surgeon who would come in with his beard. Cut it out, man. Scottish, wasn't he? So let's have a look, see what you're saying. Mark says Herbert Lom, the cop from the Pink Panther. Yes, the chief inspector, wasn't he? Chief Inspector Dreyfus. So that was quite funny. Maya says, so do lollies in a lollipop lap. Oh, is that how it goes? Do lollies in a lollipop lap. Toot sweet sound like what they are. Do lollies in a lollipop lap. Ba ba bum 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 ba ba bum bum ba dum. Brilliant film. Loved it. Absolutely loved Chitty Chitty Bang. But I might go and watch. I might download it and watch it. It's fantastic. White Suit, Steve Green says, Randall and Hopkirk deceased. The original series with, what was his name? Burke. Mike, not Burke, Pratt. Mike Pratt, who played the one that was still living, Randall, and Hopkirk, who was deceased, was played by, what was his name? The guy who played in the original, in the white suit, played Marty. No, Marty was the one that was... what were their character names now? Because I can see it. Marty, I'm still alive. No, Marty was the ghost. That's right. Marty was the ghost. And what did he used to say to the other one? I used to know all of this. What are the characters' names? And what is it's coming to me. It's coming to me. You don't have to tell me. It will come to me. The actor who played Marty in... Kenneth Cope! Yes! You know, I know people think that television has moved on and that we've got some fantastic programs on. I don't have a television. I rarely see anything these days. But I grew up with these earlier TV programs, particularly the English ones, but we did have the American things like Mission Impossible and the $6 Million Man and Ironside and all of those, and Kojak and all of that, which we enjoyed as well. But some of those, Kenneth Cope, oh my goodness, and the acting was just bizarre. Nigel Sadler says, "What's the bleeding time?" Great line from Carrying. Oh, it's "What's the bleeding time?" Cut it out, man. We used to like the Lavender Hill mob. Yes, as we lived in Lavender Hill in Shoreham, says Linda Kane. Oh, the Lavender Hill mob. That was, again, an Alec Guinness film. Fantastic. Happy Christmas, says Pastor Flaps. Nice to see you. Everyone, did you know James Robbers? Don't know James Robbers. Not heard of him. Barbara Charles says, here I am. Have I missed anything? No, probably. Oh, that's optimistic. No, probably not. You'd never miss very much in here. Jar. Oh, jar. In a lollipop jar. So do lollipops in a lollipop. Yes, of course. Sorry, I should have got that. Toot sweet sounds like what they are. So do lollipops in a lollipop jar. Ba bum but sugar plum something. Is it? What's the next line, Mara? Da da dum da. We nearly got this. This is great. Kenneth Cope. Oh yeah, he was fantastic. Paul Hine says, my mother, who was a nurse, introduced me to him. To whom? To Kenneth Cope. It was very sad to see him looking so old and thin. Who are we talking about, Paul? Who was your mother introduced to? That would be interesting to know. Tim says, I love Minder. Oh, George Cole. Of course, George Cole. We spoke of Alistair Sim earlier. Alistair Sim introduced and gave George Cole his break in the movies because he played the Spiv, didn't he, in the old St. Trinians. And so he was given a chance to get into films and later on did the Minder series, which was a fantastic series. Absolutely brilliant. Yes, you're absolutely right. It's so sad to hear. Who Paul, who are we talking about? Maya says, oh, gingerbread men have a gingerbread sound. We found that. Oh, yes, that's it. Toot sweet sounds like what they are. So do lollipops in a lollipop jar. Gingerbread men have a gingerbread sound. we found, and then it goes into that. Isn't it? It's a brilliant film. Brilliant film. What? No, wait. What does he say? Not waste your time. Something. Muffed it. James Robinson. James Robinson Justice. Oh, right. You saw your mum was introduced to him, and he was thin. I mean, it's sad to see all of these actors. I saw a thing with Norman Wisdom being interviewed closer to the end, and he was being shown some of his films, and he said, I quite like that small funny man who keeps falling over. Didn't recognise himself. He had dementia, like my father did. Terry Thomas was living in a terrible, poor little flat with no money at the end of his life until he was rescued by the is it the Water Rats Club or one of those, the Sunshine Club or whatever they were called, who managed to sort of get them in a home. But he was again, he had Parkinson's disease, and it was terrible. These family treasures. You would think that it would never happen, but it clearly it does, and it is very sad. Good friend of mine was Chris Mitchell from Ain't It Half Hot Mum. Sadly, he drank himself to death. Oh my. I mean, lovely boys. What was his name? The Sergeant Major. He's died recently, hasn't he? His name was Lovely Boys. Oh, what's his name? Yes, what's his name? He was another character. Your decorations are adorable. Thank you very much. I've made a special effort. They're coming down tomorrow, so don't worry about it. Maya says, round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll get everybody singing it by the end of the day. Toot sweet sound like what they are. So do lollipops in a lollipop jar. Gingerbread men have a gingerbread sound. We found toot sweets, toot sweets. Oh, da 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 da. You'll have to give me the rest of that. Toot sweets, toot sweets. It's the other one that I'm always interested in is the what do you see? You people looking at me, turning around on a music box that's wound by a key, turning, yearning, something. I can't remember the rest. It's very annoying. Windsor Davis, thank you very much. It's so nice having you guys out there to be able to just put me right. I'm obviously getting some early dementia, which I really don't think is a joke that you can do. But it does, it's Windsor Davis, lovely boys. They were great. Windsor Davis, great in Carry On Behind. Oh, I didn't really get into the latter of the Carry-Ons. I thought they'd lost their magic by that point. For me, the earlier ones, the black and white ones, were funnier, but there were some of the colour ones were all right, but once they got into the 70s, started to become a bit trashy for me. And also those actors were getting a bit old. Kenneth Connor, I thought was hilarious absolutely hilarious in Carry On Regardless. And there's a sequence where he's desperately trying to have a cigarette and he's giving up. A genius. But, like all actors, when they get older, some of them seem to just lose the plot a bit. He got a bit plumper and not as funny. And of course, I suppose they all felt that they were funny. Kenneth Williams, though, I think Kenneth Williams pretty much kept up being... He got hilarious because he was as skinny as anything, wasn't he? No, stop mucking about. Loved Kenneth Williams, but he was a person who, I suppose he might be bipolar. It's something like that. He didn't really rate his comic. No, of course they laughed, didn't they? They laughed. It's very, very sad, really. But these people are geniuses, absolute geniuses of their time. I don't know whether they would work now, really. I might lose this hat in a minute. It's a bit stupid. Maya says, what do you see? Oh, yes, here we go. What do you see? You people gazing at me, turning around on this music box that's wound by a key. How can you tell? Oh, yes. Then when she goes on, how can you tell? I'm under a spell. I'm waiting for love's first kiss. Oh, yes. How brilliant. Thank you so much for that. I mean, I guess one could look that up on the internet, but that's right. How can you tell? How can you tell? I've lost it now. Hang on, I've got to just humour me for one moment. What do you see? What do you see? You people gazing at me, turning around on this music box that's wound by a key. Classic films, absolutely. Not forgetting Don. Oh yes, Don Estelle from It Ain't Half Hot Man. That was hilarious. I've lost it. How can you tell? I'm under a spell. I'm waiting for love's first kiss. Do, 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 do. Yes, brilliant, brilliant. Dave Kitchen, of course, says very, very kind. He says, I prefer Papawick Pumping Station. Papawick Pumping Station. Papawick Pumping Station. Pump, 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 pump. Well, I think we're going, Kevin. I don't know, Kevin. Is Kevin's Rambles out there? I saw him earlier. We're going to that one. I can't remember what it was called down in the West Country there near Bath, whatever that's called. We're going to that one. So Maya says she's a bit of a musical fan. Did I get that last bit right? The bit I'm whatever is it? How can you tell? I'm under a spell. I'm waiting for love's first, something like that. I'm going to have to go and try and find these. It's absolutely hilarious. Jeff Kellison is saying, I'm still trying to get, oh yes, Susie and the Banshees out of my head. Is it Susie? You see, when I see it written down like that, I can't actually, I find that very hard to pronounce. Dean Cooper says, Benny Hill as the toy maker. He kept the children from the child catcher. Yes, and Benny Hill was very uncomfortable, apparently, and wasn't 100% sure he wanted to do that role, from what I understand. He was very uncomfortable doing films. He's a strange man. He kept himself very much to himself. He died with money in drawers, cash, checks uncashed, not taken to the bank, but was in his own way, and I know his humour now you might say is a bit sexist, but was very, very imaginative and clever. And you know, he much rather, and he worked incredibly hard on that, but and executed them very well. But he was just one of those characters, really, I think, that was of his time. But funnily enough, I thought in the few films that he did, I thought he was really good. So yeah, it was interesting. James Finlayson, of course, the master of the double take, Laurel and Hardy film. Yes, James Finlayson, absolutely fantastic. Character actor, and I'd love to have seen those. You know, sadly, those sort of things you never really get to see Stan and Ollie off camera as such. And James Finlayson, you see them in these sort of very pantomime-esque characters, and it's hilarious and it's lovely to see. Yes, perfect, says Maya. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Sad thing is, I remember the lyrics to the songs, but nothing of any importance. Well, that's very important. If you can lighten somebody's heart by telling them or singing to them a little ditty, then I think that's absolutely fantastic. I'm not a great lover of musicals. There's only a few musicals that I like. I gather that the film Cats, that they've made the musical of Cats, and I've never saw the original stage play, though I knew somebody who was in the very first run of Cats all those years ago. She was a stunt woman, and she was one of the roller skaters characters in Cats. But I gather the film has panned. And the critics have said it's rubbish. And what was astounding, I think I heard on the news, is they have decided to re-edit the film. I guess this happens, but I've never heard of it much. And add special effects to try and spruce it up. It just seems remarkable. Pasta Flap says, I was very much lucky to have worked on some movie sets with Kenneth Williams. Really? On several occasions, I was a location cover doctor so long ago that he was very different from the way he is portrayed. Now that is interesting. I need to slurp my coffee. Hang on. Do tell us, what was he like? Because I mean, anything that you see him on, he's so over the top. Yes, no, you can't imagine him being going home and being just, oh, hello, mother. How are you? Did your day all right? Was it? I'm just, because I know he was an obsessive with being clean, wasn't he? And of course, he had piles towards the end. He couldn't sit down, and his bottom was pretty much all he could talk about. But he was an excessive, and he lived in this flat opposite his mother, and then didn't his mother eventually move in with him again? These in this flat in London, and people would shout over to him, "Hello, Kenny," and he would tell them to mind their own business, if I remember rightly. Linda Kane says Benny Hill gave me the creeps. Yes, I mean I watched him when I was younger, of course, and I didn't really see any. I didn't see it as being sexist, the fact that he was chasing all these half-dressed women. But that, the 70s, 60s and 70s humour was trying to work its way out with women and their rights and things. And yes, you couldn't get away with it now, but it was of its time. I remember Benny Hill in The Italian Job. Yes, that's right, he was, wasn't he? You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Dave Force says, you just mentioned cats. Logan has pricked up his ears. Well, at least I didn't say, Alexa, play the theme to Cats. Well, I bet it can't find it. Alexa, play Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats. That's going to start you off. George's Railway Video says, hello, Vobes. Santa. Hello, George. Nice to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Very lovely to see you. Lisa says earlier, she says, I used to get into trouble as a little kid with my parents, would catch me staying up late night to watch Benny Hill. I think that's where my love of English television came from. So you've got love of English television. Well, good for you. English television in that era, I don't know what it was. To me, it was the golden age, but I think we have come into a different golden age. And I agree, there's some fantastic series. I mean, I'm just not watching them. I don't have the time. Patrick Rose says, Kenneth Williams used to walk around on Marylebone High Street with his nose in the air. You dare not say hello to him. I saw him a lot when I worked for the Radio Times. Oh, was he very snooty? I happened to watch by fluke on my shouldn't get into this really, mustn't get into this in the Vogue show, but I just happened to, it came up in my stream on YouTube, the recommendations, and there they were in the 70s. He was being asked his opinion on whether we should join the EU or the common market, and there was this other chap who was very sensible sort of chap saying, I don't think so, and he was talking very sensibly, and Kenneth Williams was a bit smug in this program, but he was, it was fairly normal. He wasn't going over the top, but he did he wanted to be in the common. Well, no, I think it would be all right to be in the common market, and I think that is. And I mean, I'm somebody who didn't want to be in it, and is pleased that we're out. But I know that's a lot of people think differently and whatever. But it's that was a mandate, etc., etc., etc. Let's not go down that road. But it was interesting to see that. So yeah, did he have? He's had his nose in the air. That's interesting. Nigel says, meow. Hello, Logan. Hello, Logan. Sit, Logan. Sit. Logan, fetch the paper. Logan, go up the chimney and get Mr. Santa Claus down at once. So that's all good. Lovely Julia says, I'm home now and Alexa is trying to play Memory from Cats. That's marvellous. Alexa, play the theme from the 633 Squadron. That's what I want it to play. So that's good. Dave Ford says, I don't have one of those Alexa, so I can do that. It's interesting people spell it with an A. I always think of it spelt with an E, Electra, but whatever. They've been doing reruns of Are You Being Served on drama TV. Oh, have they? They could never get away with that sort of stuff. No. Can you imagine? I'm free. My pussy. Yes, we don't want to know about that. Thank you very much. You're all doing very well. Mr. Rumbold with his big ears. Oh, classic times. Midnight All Alone is my memory, says Lisa. Midnight All Alone is my memory. Midnight All Alone, is that a song from Cats? I haven't seen Cats, so I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, really. Maya says because oh, isn't it Mr. Majestica? That's one of the numbers, isn't it? I do remember that one being a number. Majestica something something something. Maya says my party trick, if it can be called that, is that I can recite words and lyrics, about 8% of them, from The Sound of Music. So is the sound of no? Hang on, let me think. Sound of Music. It's got not Andrew Williams, Julie Andrews. Andy Williams is in there with the music that the men. What is that song? The men that do the looking of the men of the women. The men look and they pass. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Julie Andrews. That was no. I'm getting confused because a spoonful of sugar. That was from Mary Poppins, wasn't it? Sound of Music. I don't think I've ever sat through the whole Sound of Music apart from. The hills are alive with the sound of music. Because when I sing that, it sounds more like Norman Wisdom doing it. The hills are alive, don't laugh at me, 'cause I'm a fool. Lovely film. Lovely film. What was the name of the film? Trouble in Store. Norman Wisdom's first film. Trouble in Store. I was a fan, I have to say. I mean, he was a Marmite character for people, wasn't he? Some people really couldn't understand, hated him. They hated the sort of pathos that he brought to it. But I loved it. I loved the slapstick and I loved the characterization. And Jerry Desmond, who was in those, he was hilarious as well. He was a straight man. That he often was the foil, really, to Norman Wisdom. Julia Hartley says... didn't work that time. Nice try, Vobes. Oh, I see. Yeah, well, it's a bit of it. I know what to say. Alexa, play Sia. That should work. That'll get some music going up that Julia likes. Robert Baxter says I used to be able to play Memories on the piano. Memories. Oh, how does that go? Memory. I can't. I can't remember. Maya says, Julie Andrews. Yes, that's it. Oh, my goodness. The hills are... I love the sound of the Sound of Music. Oh, good. Maya Hud says, Mr. Vobes, your homework is to rectify the situation as soon as possible. What? Because I haven't sat through the Sound of Music. Yes, I know Christopher Plummer was in it, and then there's these other kids, and I probably recognise the tunes, some of the tunes. There was another film... Because is that the one that she's a nun in? Is she a nun in The Sound of Music? There is another film, a black and white film, much earlier. Not a. What was this called? I wonder if anybody knows. Anybody who knows their movies here. There was a film. Oh, it might come to me. I got this vague thing, and I'm trying to think of the actress who was in it. It was about some nuns, and this must have been made in the early 50s. Black and white thing. And it was about some nuns, and they smuggle children out of a concentration camp during the war. Now, if anyone could tell me what that film was, I would love to know, and also who the lead actress was. She was. It's a film I remember watching, and it really hit me hard. I suppose because I was quite young. And these nuns did everything. And I remember you had the scenes with the nuns. No, not bed knobs and broomsticks. Thank you, Dean. Bed knobs and broomsticks. I'm going to get rid of this hat now. It's irritating my head. If anyone could tell me the name of that film, I would... and who was in it, that would be great. Black Tulip, says Linda Kane. I'm not sure it was called Black Tulip. I will recognise the name as soon as it comes up. There was another one that Shirley Eaton was in. Or maybe she was in that one as well. Shirley Eaton was one of the... I fell in love with Shirley Eaton in the black and white films. Ice Cold and Alex. Oh, my God. Shirley Eaton as a younger woman, I mean, she was absolute dream. She was in one of the Carry-Ons, wasn't she? She was in one of the Carry-On Regardless. I think she was in 2 Carry-Ons. She did a few of those things, and then she became a bit of a sex symbol, and she was amazing in... Am I thinking the right one, Shirley Eaton? In Ice Cold and Alex. Black Tulip, yeah. Who was Maya says, Dean, my mum went... Oh, that's to Dean. Okay, now I must just get this in very quickly because I want to say a big thank you to the lovely Elaine Brazier who sent a card in. Here is Elaine's card. Look at that. That looks like Fort Knox. This is greetings from Dover. She says, best wishes for Christmas and the New Year. It's like being in one of the broom cupboard, isn't it? To Richard and Julia and all the followers, wishing you all peace, love and joy for Christmas and the New Year from Elaine, Brazier and family. So thank you so much, Elaine. Absolutely fantastic. I'm going to shove that down there. Now let's just get the webcam on so you can see the array of cards. Here, where are you? Up there somewhere. Cards, little Father Christmas, bits of cold coffee going on over there, which is all very nice. Can anyone remember that film? I wish I could remember it. Pastor Scepter, sadly, the quality of BBC programmes has become poorer, mostly... oh, yes, I understand. Political correctness has ruined everything. Absolutely, I agree with you there. Doe a deer. Doe a deer, was that... Ouch. Oh, Edelweiss. Edelweiss. I never knew it was Edelweiss. I thought it had something else to do with a vice. I'm going on 16... On 17, nothing comes for nothing. Oh, yes. They had some of the... Edelweiss, I remember. I think that's why I couldn't bear it. Conspiracy of Hearts. That's it. That is the film. Tanya, Alison, hello and welcome to you. Conspiracy of Hearts. Please do a Google and tell me who the lead was. Yes, Conspiracy of Hearts. Oh, my God. What a beautiful film. That was a beautiful black and white film, absolutely, and amazing. Team Williams, A Nun Story, Audrey Hepburn. I don't think it was Audrey Hepburn. I may be wrong. Tanya, go and thank you so much for that. Conspiracy of Hearts. Oh my! Do you know that's just hit me there? It really has. It's hit me there. It's an amazing film. Maybe it's a bit hackneyed now, but I remember watching it as a kid. An amazing film. Just wanted to say, right flaps, says Susie Q. Ramaboo, yes, to Maya. What was the yodel song? Oh, that was my favourite. What was the yodel song? Oh, High on a Hill. Oh, yes, High on a Hill was a lonely goat herd. High on a hill was a lonely goat herd. La da 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 da. See, I do remember that. I do remember. Lily Palmer. Thank you so much, Lily Palmer. Yes, Lily Palmer was in a TV series with Barry Morse, who was also at one time in Space 1999. And they did this series. I think there were only 7 programmes made, and I cannot remember what it was called. And there were 4 of them. Lily Palmer, there was Barry Morse, and 2 others. And it was the same sort of time as The Persuaders, and The Persuaders with Roger Moore and the American guy whose name now has just gone out of my head. It'll come back to me. Lily Palmer. Oh, my God. You could always... Nigel Sadler says, or you could always ask everyone's Alexa. Oh, well, does Alexa know all of these things? Does Alexa know that? It used to be OK Google. And wasn't she beautiful? Lily Palmer, Barbara... Yes, Lily Palmer. I mean... Lily Palmer. That's amazing. Yes, because in that Nun's... I don't know what it was. It was her voice. It was the voice. She was very beautiful. You're quite right. And then it was her voice. Sylvia Sims. That's who I'm thinking of. Sylvia Sims. Yes. Wait a minute. Yes, Sylvia Sims. I said Shirley Eaton. Shirley Eaton was another actress, wasn't she? Sylvia Sims. Yes, Tony Curtis, thank you very much. There we go. This is fantastic. Isn't this fantastic? I mean, it is sad that it is memory, but it is Christmas, and we can do this sort of stuff, can't we? Now, so there we are. That's the challenge. What was that thing that Barry Morse, Lily Palmer were in? It was a sort of detective thing, and there were 4 of them, and I can never remember it. And I can't remember 2 of the other actors. They were sort of nondescript actors, I think. Were the 2 that always got me. Barry Morse was in Space 1999. Fantastic. Lily Palmer. Oh, yes. Conspiracy of Hearts. Thank you so much. You've really made my evening on that one. Now, the other thing I must announce. You may remember earlier in the year, went over to Pluckley, to the tea and coffee shop in Pluckley. Good old Richard Smith at the tea and coffee Pluckley didn't forget me going over there and doing a bit of promotion for free on his tea, and he sent this card, this very nice card with this snowy owl on the cover, and he sent it in, and it says, to Richard and Julia, the best wishes for Christmas and the New Year from Richard and all the tea pluckers, which was very nice. He's not a tea plucker's son, is the Zoo Gang. Yes, that's right, the Zoo Gang. Oh my God, you lot are so clever. The Zoo Gang. Oh, yes, yes. Who were the other two? As I say, I can't remember really who they were, but the Zoo Gang, and I loved that. But there was only about 7 episodes. What? Wow, that is a shame. Are we still on? Yes, I think we are. Anyway, Richard Smith has sent in some teas, some fantastic teas. So we've got here Sussex tea, which I think is just ordinary black tea. And I say ordinary, but it's lovely black tea. So that's really nice. Then we've got Ramiboo tea here. This is Ramiboo's Christmas tea, or is it Roebus? Roeboo tea to try. That's very nice. We're going to try these either on this show or on the Board Explorer or something, but probably on this show we could try them. I'll get lovely Julia in, and we'll try these. We've got Christmas fruit tazine to try out. That looks very nice, doesn't it? What a lovely gift this is, a Christmas gift to the old Vobes one-eyed Kenobi. And Christmas black tea. So I wonder how that differs from the other tea. And if Christmas black tea is no good, then we've got some Christmas green tea, and we can probably find the difference in those and see. Oops, not that one now. That's Christmas on the floor tea. So that's very nice. I think this is another load of Kenya tea, black tea. That's the same as the other one, I think. But what a lovely gift. So I thought we're going to try some of those teas out. We'll tease out the flavours on the show. I've dropped one on the floor. What was that? Oh, the Christmas fruit tazine. Hang on a minute. Let's try and get this. Just got to bury myself under the table. How are we doing on the time? I looked at the clock half an hour ago, and it only felt like 10 minutes ago. We can see your address. Can you? It's a bit late now, isn't it? Oh well. If you know my address, you can pop round and have a cup of tea. Or you can send me a I was going to say a gift. I didn't mean it like that. First I was going to say a card, and then of course it's too late to send Christmas cards. Then a gift. Well, I didn't mean it because that sounded very pompous. But anyway, come round for a cup of tea. Sussex tea is lovely. Looking forward to trying that. Andy Friesen knows all about the Pluckley tea. Nigel Sadler says, I must send you some of our homegrown Kent tea in the new year. Yes, you must. That would be very interesting. Zoo Gang, John Mills, Brian Keith. Thanks, Google. Oh, John Mills was. Oh, yes, John. And there was I saying that John Mills, of course, is a fantastic actor. Very, very brilliant actor. Yes, Barry Morse, John Mills, Lily Palmer, and Brian Keith. Whatever happened to Brian Keith? Brian Keith and John Mills per IMDb. What does IMDb stand for? Is DB database and IM is... What does that stand for? Barbara Charles, thank you for that. That's very interesting. It sounds like you've had a big freeze. Did you get a big freeze? Are we still on? It looks like we're still on at the moment, which is very nice. I'd like to sit down and have a cuppa with you. Well, Ramiboo, you're very welcome. Come over anytime. Just better give me a text beforehand, because I might be out making a Board Explorer video. You never know. We did have some sunshine. I did go out, and I've got the Boxing Day video in the can. I've got to edit it up ready beforehand, tomorrow probably. So it was very muddy where I went. It was very muddy. I was slightly nervous of falling over. Oh, International Movie Database. Of course it is. International Movie, IM. I should have guessed that. Internet Movie Database. International, I think it is. Brian Keith died in 1997. Yeah, I must check him out and find out who he was, because I probably recognise him. Gosh, the Zoo Gang. Yes. Andy says, can we all come round and have a massive party? Well, if you can bring some living space, then you can. You can all come if you can bring some living space, because there's not that much, but maybe come in 2s and 3s. Because it may look like there's a lot of space here, but actually those people who have been round will know that this is a tiny little back room. Half of it is filled with the lights and the desk, as you can see here. And then there's also sort of racking and bits and pieces that the lovely Kevin put up. Yeah, there is very little space. And of course, there is a whole load of books here, which is nice. We're nearly out of time. Golly, where did that time go? I brought in here a book. I bought myself a Christmas present. Isn't that nice? I bought myself a Christmas present. The Decline of the English Village. We've been looking at villages and the land grab and stuff, and I wanted to read this, and I was going to read you a little excerpt from this, actually, because it's by a chap called Robin Page, and it's very nostalgic because he captures this village in the 1950s before really the decline comes. And I'm only on to just beginning of chapter 3. So beautifully written, and the characters that he talks about from his childhood are incredibly well remembered and drawn and put over. It's an absolute joy to read. It's one of those books that you don't want it to stop because the characterizations are so fantastic. No, I was gonna read a little bit out of it, but I can always read that another time. I was reading actually today about the shop in the high street. All of these, the characters in them were hilarious. I will just read a little bit and see how we go. The other shop in the high street was completely different. So he's spoken about the village and the high street and one of the shops. He's talking about another one. In the old days, it had been a village bakery where Charlie had started work, and where at the age of 13 he'd carried sacks containing 19 stone of beans on his back. But with the yard where the horses and carts had once called for, where flour and corn there was me saying it was so marvellous. But with the yard where horses and carts had once called, and where flour and corn had been stored up, now empty, the only other part still used was the shop, where groceries and confectionery were sold instead of bread. On entering, an old bell would sway and ring over the door, and then all would be hushed until Mrs. Creek shuffled into the dark interior from her living room at the back. The large shelves were nearly always half empty, and old advertisements could be seen through the gloom proclaiming the wonders of cherry blossom boot polish, farmer's glory cornflakes, and camp coffee essence. The counter, which extended along 3 sides, was broad and high, and behind it the old lady would take an eternity to search out what was required. She sold mostly sweets, which were weighed out on an old set of balancing scales, and she would move sweets to and fro for minutes on end until the pans balanced. Sometimes, to get the correct weight, she would even bite a sweet in 2, putting one half on the scales and returning the other to the bottle. She similarly, meticulously, when weighing out cheese, used the smallest crumbs and slithers to make weights. And when getting a pound of tomatoes, the last one was always cut to the exact weight to make sure that the customer got no more than was asked for. Consequently, most people shopped at the post office, marking only an occasional sympathy visit to Mrs. Creek to buy small items. So that was just a little moment there, but there's so many interesting bits. Anyway, I just wanted to. Sorry about that. I had to, these glasses are a bit weird. I had to sort of bring them down here to be able to. It's one's getting old, you know. Yes. I want to come and bring cornbread, says Jeff Kellison. Come over, Jeff, and we'll cook on the Essie together with these lovely pots that you've purchased for me, and we'll make cornbread. It will be great. Dean Cooper says, could we borrow Morrison's car park? Yes, of course you can borrow. You've got 2 hours for free. I went on the Bluebell a couple of weeks ago, says Maya. Well done, you. I bet that was lovely. I've got the furniture. Fantastic, says Andy Stace. Oh, that would be nice, and I'm up for that. You're all invited. Come over. If Christmas, you find yourself arguing with all the in-laws and everything else, then just pop over to Worthing, and you'll be very welcome. You better bring some nibbles and supplies, because to be honest with you, I haven't really got anything in. There's only going to be me, you see. Billy and his girlfriend will be off, no doubt, doing something. There always are. Christmas Day itself, I'm going down to my eldest son's. That's nice. And then the rest of the time, Boxing Day, Christmas Eve, the rest of the year, I'll be on my lonesome todsome. Now, where did I put that violin? somebody sent me a violin, the smallest violin in the world. David Keel says, I see why you had such strong feelings about that multi-storey car park being close to your home, Richard. I hope they brought it down. Well, they have brought it down, but do you know what? They're building another monstrosity, even taller, it looks like. The lovely Julia says, anyone coming over from America, can you bring Tang? Is it still around? Tang? Does anybody know what Tang is? Nigel says, just noticed this channel has 399 subscribers. Anyone know a friend? Let's make it 400 for Christmas. That would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be that would be good. We've gone from no one to 399. That's amazing. And I only do these live shows and I don't really promote it terribly much, but I'd like to do more of these. I don't know what it is that people like about them, but I just love this interaction of talking to you guys, even if there is a 40-second delay. Dean Cooper says, I'll have a go. It's so very good of you. Night all. Oh, he's got to go. Wonderful show, truly entertaining. But I've got to go and do some cooking. Yeah, not surprised. Julia says, actually, never mind. I've reduced my sugar intake, not increase. Yes, that's right. Good girl, woman. Reduce your sugar intake. Be so much more healthy. I haven't had Tang in 30 years, says Jeff Kellison, but it's still available. I will slip a can in the box. There we go, Julia. You asked. It's yours. Thank you, Jeff. That would be amazing. It's going to be an amazing box when it comes. Merry Christmas, Dean. Floating our boat. Hi, Richard. Just had the journey from hell, returning our boat in Cheshire from Brighton in 8 hours. Are you... returning to our boat. Oh, you've been in Brighton and returning... hang on, let me get that the right way around. Returning to our boat in Cheshire from Brighton. 8 hours! For just anybody who doesn't know, Floating Our Boat, they have a delightful channel on YouTube. Go and check it out. It's absolutely brilliant. They, I can't remember now how long. It's over a year, isn't it? Just over a year or so. I remember you going through the accounts and telling us how much it cost. And you have a house, but you choose to live on the boat most of the year, and a canal boat. It's absolutely fantastic. Floating Our Boat. Thank you so much for tuning in. So nice. You're such a lovely couple. It's lovely to see you going around and talking in a very honest and plain and way. And it, I'd love to get a canal boat. It's not right at this moment in time, but I'm hoping to get. We're hoping to do another trip, hiring another boat. I'm hoping the lovely Julia will accompany me again, because she's such a great helmswoman. She does all the, all of that. That's what she's brilliant at. In and out the locks, and it's amazing. But it would be lovely to come and meet you guys, and do a video. Of course, that would be fantastic. So that would be good. Maya says, any thoughts on what to do on Boxing Day if alone with no public transport? Well, I'm all on my own as well. I've got books, so that's the thing. I'll be reading books. Jeff, our very own fairy godfather, says Julie. Yes, he is our fairy godfather. Actually, he's been very, very kind. Rami Boo says, did you all catch the store bit? A piece of candy on 1/2. Hang on, let me just decipher that, Lisa. Did you all catch that the storekeeper bit a piece of candy? Oh, yes, in the reading just now. Yeah, she bit half. She would bite a piece of candy so it weighed correctly, and then put the other bit in the pot. I mean, that's the thing, and this is true. This isn't made up. People were like that. She sounded incredibly mean. There's a fantastic story about the meanness of the squire in the village, who that is just worth reading out in one. It's a beautiful book. I'm so enjoying it. The characters in it. Yeah, no, absolutely. Sorry, I just twigged then. It's hilarious. Robert Baxter, I would love to own a narrowboat. Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because it in a way it is. I don't know whether it's true now, and perhaps you guys could tell us, Floating Your Boat. It seems to be the last vestige of where you can escape from this very controlled world that we're having in. So yeah, no, it's great. Dean says, "Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to you." Thanks. Off you go, Dean. Go and do cooking. I'm going to wind up the show in a second. Linda Kane says, "Of course, you wouldn't do it." Julia Hartley says, "I will live on a narrowboat one day. It will happen when I'm 64." Yes. Floating your boat, you're welcome to do a collab. It would be lovely, just love. I mean, it'd be lovely to do a collab, but it'd be lovely just to meet you guys. And because do you know what it's like? It's like you see another YouTuber and you think, well, they're superstars. And personally, you just think of yourself as just ordinary somebody holding a camera. And I'm sure we all feel the same, but we see somebody else and we go, oh, there's something about meeting another YouTube type celeb, Dean Cooper, thank you. I hope you all have a lovely Christmas. I'm going to wind up the show now because we've gone over time. I only like to do an hour of your time, but thank you very much. Oh, I want to see a collab with Richard and floating our boat. Julia, I want you to be in it. You've got to be in it. You are my chief helmswoman. You are my right arm man. No, you know what I mean. Same to you, says Robert Baxter. Yes, I'd love for you all to take another boat, and maybe when it's warm, it made me feel miserable that you was all drizzling and getting sick. Yes, it was a bit cold, and I had a cold, and baby Joseph was absolutely exemplary. But we did enjoy it. And we got some lovely shots, and it was wonderful being on that canal. We didn't go through many locks, as you know, and we didn't go up the step locks. I mean, we did that deliberately because we had a baby on board who needed a lot of attention. But now I think, we get the baby to do the now. By the time we get round there, he'll probably be walking. So I think he can be winding the locks up, no problem at all. Nigel Sadler says, with the regularity of flooding, a narrowboat looks like a good idea. Well, global warming apparently is coming, and so we're all going to need boats as second homes. So that's what we're all going to be living in boats. Andy Friesen says, Merry Christmas, Richard. Merry Christmas to each of you. Have a great time. Patrick Rose says, how about a lifeboat? Yes, that's true. Could have a lifeboat. But then people will want rescuing every 2 minutes. I'll be doing the show and I'm sorry, I've got to go and rescue someone. So I'm not quite sure. Are we still live? Says Francesco Bellringer. No, we all died 10 minutes ago. That was a terrible Vesuvius. It covered us in ash. Or was it the Essie? I think the Essie exploded and covered me in ash. Yes. This Sunday's walk is off, by the way. Oh, yes, we should announce that. The walk this Sunday after Christmas, before the New Year, is actually cancelled. I'm hoping that someone's put it on our Facebook page. It's cancelled because of all the water. Yes, thanks. So sorry about that, Nigel. Maybe we can push that on to January or something. Julia says, yes, Francisco. Anne Osborne says, great show tonight. Everyone have a Christmas. So that's it, really, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful year. We're not at the end of the year yet, but it's been a wonderful year so far. Thanks for coming along. Hope you have a beautiful Christmas, and we'll see you after that. I will be doing some live shows between now and the end of the year. Probably won't do one on Christmas Day because I'm going to be off with my son, which is next Wednesday. Traditionally, a day when I do a show, but I probably won't get round to doing that. I can't drink though because I'm still on these antibiotics, so I'll be as sober as a judge, which is drunk as a lord and sober as a judge. Anyway, Merry Christmas. How far are you now, Jeff? How many miles have you got to go before you go? We must know. I've got to know. You've done another hour. I'm going to have a guess that you have got about 57 to go. You've got about 57, something like that. Maybe a bit more. Maybe less. Maybe you've got 40, 57, 52. I'm going to say 52 miles to go. I'm going to guess. Because you go at about 55 miles an hour over in America, don't you, with your motorways, not motorways. What do you call them? You don't call them motorways, but your not autobahns. What do you call them? I've been on them. Anyway, you know what I mean. Ramaboo, Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas. Everyone's saying Happy Christmas, it's lovely. Nigel Sadler saying Merry Christmas. See you next time, whenever that is. Yes. Have a lovely Christmas, everyone. See you a week on Wednesday. Unless I can persuade Julia to come in. I will probably do a show on Friday. Nigel Sadler, Jeff is driving, so he can't type. No, but he can probably do the... I use the dictation my phone all the time because I find it hard to type with my one eye. I find it less easy to type. So, Tanya Ellison, nice to be here. I've been lurking for a while. Happy Christmas. Thank you, Tanya, particularly. Thanks for coming out of the lurk as well. But thank you for Conspiracy of Hearts and Lily Palmer. Thank you for that. I'm going to go and try and see if that's on YouTube somewhere. It's such a good film. So there we go. Hi, I'm back at you, Tanya. It's so kind of you. Nice to be a bit. Oh yes, I read that. It's KMS on freeway. Oh yes, it's kilometers. Yes, kilometers on the freeway. Of course it is. There we go. I haven't heard from Jeff now to know how far it is, but gonna have to wind it up really. So thank you so much. Take care. Hope you all get home for Christmas and you have a wonderful time. Thank you for joining me. And I will see you. There's nothing else. I'm just double checking all around. And I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to tune in for lovely Kim Murden's, nearly forgot her name then, Murden's story. And there's a special Christmas Day video coming up just for you, which hopefully will make you smile on Christmas Day on the Bald Explorer channel. So thanks for watching. Take care, one and all. I'm going to fly off now because somebody's got to. And I will see you then. What's that? Oh, yeah, Linda Kay, happy Christmas. Ta-ta and goodbye. Goodbye. Oh, Jeff Kellison says 19 and a half. Blimey. There you go. Thanks, Jeff. I'm so pleased. You'll be back, what, in 20 minutes? 20 minutes? This is superb. I hope you have a good, nice British cup of tea when you get in. There we are. Some Christmas fruit tazine or something. Take care. Bye all. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.